Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice, Simple Steps for Showing Up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. I am grateful for you. I'm grateful that you share these episodes. I'm grateful for your comments, for your reviews, for all that you do for this episode. You may not feel like it does very much, but I promise you it goes farther than you think. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your effort that you put into yourself, that you try and move the needle each and every day. I know from experience it does not feel like you're getting very far, but I promise you, you're getting farther than you think. It is the compound effect. It is the iteration upon iteration upon iteration that you evolve and become a bigger, grander person. But that bigger, grander person, that level 10 person, only comes because of level 10 problems. We all start at level 1. We all start at this base foundation, a low-level person. And as we have challenges in life, we become grander. And with each passing challenge, the challenge becomes more difficult. That's life. Welcome to adulthood, right? You had challenges when you were in elementary school, before school, middle school, high school. Each iteration of challenge became harder. You got out of high school, you had to learn about car insurance and credit cards and billing and rent, mortgage, life insurance, kids going to school, helping them with their problems, work, bosses, employees. The challenges became more difficult, and as you made more money, you had to learn how to manage that money, how to delegate that money, how to grow and expand that money. One, with your own time, your own energy, your own effort, and then with the money's time, energy, and effort, letting your money make more money, and then that money making more money, and how you're going to do taxes, how are you going to do all these things. What I'm getting at is, as you become a larger person going through larger problems, it takes more of you. So often we look in this future cast sense and see the problems that could occur and say, oh my goodness, I do not know how I will solve that problem. I'm not capable of solving that problem. Here's newsflash. You're right. You're not capable of solving the problem a year from now. Why? Because you're not the person you will be a year from now. You are the person you are today. And this person today can solve today's problems. Today's person is unable to solve next week's problems because you're not that person yet. But you're becoming that person through the trials you have right now. As you go through these trials, you're not going to win them all. I was having a conversation with my wife last night. It went a little something like this. We have this friend, because of the crypto boom since Donald Trump has become president-elect, he made $100,000 last week. Awesome. That's great. I love that for him. And we were talking about how he refuses to get into projects, investments, crypto, whatever. It doesn't matter. That he doesn't 100% understand. He must 100% understand it in order for him to put money into it. We were talking about the different projects I've been into that some didn't work and some were flat out scams. I have been in, I can think of 3 or 4 scams right off the top of my head that I have put 5 figures in, multiple 5 figures in. And it is because of those learnings that I have built my company today. One of the biggest losses I ever had was a project I put $70,000 into. Turned out to be a scam. Here's the thing. The company I'm building right now is framed because of that project with the things that I learned. The things that were real about the project. I said, how can we make that real? How can we actually do that for real? And then all the other projects that were scams or that I had learnings in, I said, what did I learn and what did I not like? let's correct that and make it for real. So the structure, the framework, everything that my current project, my current business, my current venture is built around is around the things that I lost from. Now back to this friend that made $100,000 last week in crypto. Here's the thing. He's only ever really going to make at most 6 figures. Why? Because he refuses to do things he's never done. Therefore, he'll never expand beyond where he's at. As I said, my greatest lessons were the things I lost, or I lost in. They were failures. So were they really actually failures? If I became such a greater person because of them, I would beg that they are not. That's why I call them learnings, not failures. This friend of mine, he's batting basically 100%. Everything he's ever put money into has succeeded on a very small scale. $100,000, that's awesome. But compared to who is that a lot? Elon Musk? Jeff Bezos? Berkshire Hathaway? Or the homeless person on the street? Two very different dynamics, two very different concepts. I would beg that it is not very much in the scheme of things. And he will never actually grow out of his capacity that he's at now. He's at maximum capacity with the inability to get past this glass ceiling. And then he'll wonder, why can I get past this glass ceiling? And I say, it's because you are unwilling to do the things you don't understand. Hire on the people to do the things you don't know and go down the path of not understanding and become understanding in that through trial and learning. I am the person I am today because of my learnings, first and foremost, not because of my wins. In fact, I don't remember most of my wins. I do, however, remember all of my learnings. That's the magnitude they have in your life. Now, what is the purpose of all this? This episode, what is the purpose of all these things? Becoming a level 10 person, your trials, becoming better. You must have grace for yourself. You must have empathy for yourself. You are, after all, your biggest critic. Nobody will beat you up better than you. Nobody knows you better than you. Therefore, nobody knows how to cause pain on yourself better than you. You must have grace. You must have love. You must have patience with yourself. You are not perfect, nor will you ever be perfect. Perfectionism is the ultimate procrastinator because you'll never get there. What you are is someone who's learning. You may not be the best at this thing because you're learning. You may not be the greatest in the space because you're learning. Everybody is learning in some capacity. Some are just farther down the road than others. And here's the point. You must walk the path. But in order to walk the path, you will trip and fall. And that is where you have grace for yourself. You need to take a step back and see how far you've come. As in previous episodes, pause and look back on the valley to which the mountain you've climbed. You need the peaks and the valleys. They're both required. In a saw blade, you need the tip and the trough. The trough extracts all the wood to which you can cut. It allows the cutting to take place. You need the downs as well as the ups. They're both required. A true craftsman recognizes that the saw must work in order to build what you're trying to build. But in order for the saw to work, you need the peaks and the troughs. You need to give yourself grace. You need to give yourself patience. You need to give yourself resources to get to where you're trying to go. And keep walking. Laying in bed saying, I don't want this day to occur and I'm going to lay here, is no way to move forward. You must build the habits, build the rituals, build the things in your life, the routines to help you through the hard times. Because the hard times will always come. And if you're in one right now, it will pass. It's just a season. If you're in a time of bliss and satisfaction, it's going to pass. You're going to hit hard times again because you need the peaks and the troughs in order to build the masterpiece. The masterpiece, by the way, you'll never actually finish in this life. You're just building the skills along the way to get there. You need to understand that nobody will beat you harder than yourself. Now, that's not to say, sit back and say, well, I'm not perfect, so I don't have to try my best. You still need to give your best. And in fact, most of the time, if you're pushing the envelope and trying to grow, your best is not enough. I'll be the bearer of bad news. Your best is not enough. I've had friends, my son, he said, I've given my best and I still failed. What's the deal? And I said, your best wasn't enough. Do more. Be better. Be stronger. All these things, you need to do more. Your best wasn't enough. And that's where your learnings come into place. Your best wasn't enough. Become better. Do better. Give more energy. Give more effort. And you will think you've given 100%, then all of a sudden you've unlocked a little more. And that's all you need is a little more. You need to comprehend and understand that in order to get to where you're going, you must fall. You must trip. You must stumble. Because if you're not, then you're not actually pushing the envelope. You're not pushing your skill level to new heights. You must look at the task at hand and say, I don't know if I can do it, but I know for certain I can figure it out. Meaning, I don't know if I can do it right now, but as I do it, I'll figure it out. You must begin walking. Don't wait until January 1st. Start now. Go to the gym now. Start the project now. Start the book now. Start the podcast now. Start the movie now. Start the business now. You don't need to quit your current job to start the side hustle and build that side hustle to replace the job. You can do that now. There is no one telling you you can't. And those that are telling you can't is solely because they told themselves that. No one is holding you back but yourself. Get up, tie your bootstraps together, get after it. My son this morning, we were reading his books for his first reading books for school. It's his homework. He's in kindergarten. And the book we were reading was pretty difficult. It had a lot of exceptions in the words, like juice. If you sound it out, you're not going to come up with the word juice. Igloo. If you sound it out, you're not coming up with the word igloo. Iguana. If you sound it out, you are not coming up with the word iguana. And my son was really frustrated. He said, I can't do this. This is too hard. I said, you can do this. And you must do this. So keep practicing, and I'm here to help you. We made it through. Had to entice him with the marshmallow. But he still made it through. Sometimes we need a carrot dangled in front of our face to keep going. Sometimes we need a mentor to help us. I would beg that most of the time we need a mentor to help us if we're trying to do something we've never done. And that mentor might be a book, might be a podcast, it might be a documentary. You may hire somebody. The mentor can appear in many, many, many different fashions, and they do not have to be expensive. These podcasts, most podcasts, are free. You can learn a ton from them. But what I need you to do is start walking and start tripping and start fumbling sooner rather than later, because that means you are moving at a quicker pace than you're capable of and used to. And that's okay, because you will build the muscles along the way. I am grateful for you. I'm grateful that you listened to this episode. Until next week, like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. I love you guys. Bye.